Alright, so good morning, and yeah, I got the Puma Fast-R3 in here for a video, and yeah, as you can see, I'm doing a bit of a different style of video today, as I'm not actually running in the shoe right now, but yeah, there's a reason for that, and that is that I've now done 2 sessions in this. Yeah, I did one on Tuesday evening and another one on Thursday morning, and it is now Saturday. And yeah, I'm kind of gonna spoil this a bit and just start off by saying that I kind of want to preserve the shoe for races now, as I wouldn't have believed it myself, but I honestly think that this might be the best shoe I've ever run in, or well, at least the best carbon race shoe that is. So when I saw the shoe for the first time, I was kind of like, yeah, there's just no way I'm gonna buy this. Just, you know, Puma, they did this study where they essentially concluded that this shoe on average makes athletes 3% more efficient, which this is not new, and kind of felt like something I just roll my eyes at. And just, you know, just the design of this shoe seems so over the top and so gimmicky, but having run in this twice now, having done 2 pretty good sessions in this, I don't think there's anything gimmicky about this at all. And yeah, but why does this shoe work so well? It's interesting. I mean, just running in this, running slow in this is just almost impossible, and it just feels bizarre and actually pretty terrible going slow. It's just, this is definitely a shoe for basically all out efforts. And you know, Puma made a package here with a lot of elements that just work together really well, and I want to start with something that really felt like a gimmick to me when I saw it for the first time, and that is this carbon plate here, how it extends over the toe up front here. It's interesting when you look at the wear pattern I have so far. You probably can't see this, but I've actually worn down the shoe right up front here, so when I toe off or when I roll through my stride, I actually touch the edge right here. And I think the effect that this has is that this carbon plate and this extreme rocker that this shoe has is just elongated just a bit more, and you just have a bit more kind of to roll through here and a bit more to snap you forwards. And just looking at this rocker here, it's pretty insane really. Yeah, basically the entire shoe is a rocker, as you've got nothing in the midfoot here, just, yeah, nothing at all, just a cutout. And then you have this really long and really exaggerated curve here. And this is a shoe that really, this is not like the Vaporfly at all, which is quite a free-flowing, natural ride. This is very controlling, and this is a shoe that really wants you to roll through your stride and really get this kind of toe off motion going. Even this strip in the heel, the only part that actually touches the ground is this top layer here in the outsole. The rest is just completely cut away, and this, well, obviously you're saving on materials here, and this is a very light shoe. This comes in at 156 grams in my size 40, which is almost as light as the Vaporfly 4, but this does have the full 40 millimeters of stack height. Yeah, number 2 is that it just feels like a heel that just gets out of the way. I mean, I kind of doubt that this is a shoe that's going to work that well for heel strikers, but if you forefoot strike, you just feel like you're really getting the most out of this section up front here, and this is where the action is centered on really. Also, just very briefly want to mention the fit on this shoe, which when I put this on for the first time, I kind of thought that this fits a bit long, and I mean it does. I've got almost a full thumb width here in my normal true to size, but running in this, I honestly didn't notice it at all. And I think, you know, the rest of the upper here and, you know, just the fit of this shoe is quite tight. And yeah, I don't think that you should go half size down on this. And even though it is long, I think it's just part of the design here with the elongated plate here that, yeah, I think this part up front here just doesn't really bother me at all. And also just want to quickly mention this carbon plate in this. And you know, I think with a lot of these super shoes, the plate isn't really all that noticeable, and it's basically just to give you a bit more of a stable platform and to just make the soft foams we have nowadays just a bit stiffer. And this is different. This is kind of what I imagined a carbon plate to feel like when we first got these shoes several years ago, because this really feels like a spring underfoot, and this really feels like on landing you really compress this plate and really load it up, and when you toe off you get this spring forwards, and it feels quite mechanical in a way. Like, yeah, this is just not a ride that is natural in any way. This is, you know, I think that's actually okay, as this is a race shoe and this has, well, just one purpose really. And I think, you know, the aim of this kind of shoe is just going fast, and yeah, that's it really. So I've actually brought along a few of my other favorite carbon race shoes here, just to do a bit of a quick comparison here, just so we can classify this Puma a bit better. Yeah, let's start off with the Vaporfly 4 here, which is my most recent addition. This is a very, very different shoe. Now, in terms of weight, it's actually quite similar. This is 149 grams, where the Puma is 156. So both of these are extremely light. And yeah, quite similar really. But the Vaporfly 4 is actually quite a simple shoe. This is just a slab of Zumax and a carbon plate and a pretty mild geometry. This is a shoe that feels quite natural underfoot actually, and it doesn't sort of control you like the Puma does. And this is definitely a very, very nimble and very fast shoe, but it just does not have the aggressiveness of the Puma. And I think, you know, I would race in this theoretically, but I think, you know, the Puma is just faster, and that's kind of, you know, relegated this shoe now to a super trainer, if you want to call it that, which is a bit sad to say, but I do have to say that the Puma is just the better shoe here. Alright, so next up is the Adios Pro 4 here, and well, as you can see, my pair has a bit of a quality control issue as my stripes are coming off here, but otherwise this shoe is still in top condition, and this is one that I've really been loving, but it's also a very different shoe to the Puma. This is quite soft underfoot and very, very bouncy, but this is bouncy in the kind of way that you feel like you're sort of bouncing upwards like a trampoline, where the Puma, this is a shoe that just basically has one direction, and that is pushing you forwards, and the Puma is more aggressive and it is also lighter. And if it comes down to which one feels more efficient and which one feels faster, then there's just no question. I think the Puma beats this one easily. In a way, well, maybe it makes it a shoe that's not going to be as democratic. I don't think the Puma is going to work for everyone, where I think the Adios Pro 4 works at a lot of different paces and also a lot of different running styles. But, you know, when it comes down to pure performance, I think the Puma easily has the win here. So yeah, final matchup here is versus what so far I'd say has probably been my favorite race shoe ever, and yeah, that is the Adios Pro Evo 1 here. It's actually quite a close matchup here in terms of performance, but it is not a close matchup in terms of price. So the Puma comes in at 280 euros, which is, well, pretty expensive, but the Evo 1 comes in at a pretty ridiculous 500, where, you know, when I got this shoe, which was I think 1.5 years ago, I would have said that this is easily the best race shoe on the market. But, you know, nowadays the Pro 4 is really, really close in performance here, and the Puma, honestly, I think this shoe is maybe even faster than the Evo 1. Nowadays, I just say that paying 500 euros for the Evo 1 is, just don't do it. It's just not worth it. And at this point, you know, with this shoe being out now, I honestly don't think I'm gonna get the Evo 2 either. I mean, of course, the Evo 1 is still considerably lighter than the Puma. It comes in at 128 grams versus 156 for the Puma, which, you know, is still really, really, really light. And I think, you know, having a light race shoe is important, but at the end of the day, what a shoe feels like underfoot, yeah, it just matters more. So yeah, I think that's it here on the Puma Fast-R3. And yeah, like I said, this is a shoe that's kind of blown my mind a bit just by how good this is. And yeah, I just would have never expected this kind of performance from a Puma shoe, which, you know, at the end of the day, Puma is kind of a niche brand. And yeah, I mean, like I said, this shoe, it is a bit a shoe that's probably not going to work for everyone. And I do think this requires a certain form. And, you know, when you're getting tired, I noticed this on my session, then it doesn't feel quite as good anymore. This is definitely a shoe that you want to really feel up to it for. And yeah, hope you found this entertaining and hope you found this somewhat helpful. Yeah, more content on this is to come at some point, though like I said, I do want to kind of save this for races now. And yeah, like and subscribe as always, and see you soon.